So March 2020, COVID hit, and in April, I got an email from a friend that asked if there was anywhere where a homeless person could get a shower. I sent an email to the mayor, the deputy mayor, and our CAO here in Bradford, and just asked.
It was pretty profound, to tell you the truth, when we got the email that we were dealing with homelessness in our community. And I talked to Rob right away and said we've got to do our best. And I realized that, you know what, this is what we're here for. It at times brings you to tears when you see that.
That snowballed into providing meals in conjunction with the food bank, with the community meal, with cross trainers, and we were able to provide 2 days a week a place for people to come, get a shower, and get a meal, but also conversation and community, standing outside, safely apart. And that was the only place in all of Simcoe County where a homeless person could get a shower. Now there was people that were coming to us asking for housing options. Every shelter was in lockdown. These people literally had nowhere to go. When the government said stay home, they would have loved to, but they didn't have a home to stay in. So we started praying, brainstorming different options. The deputy mayor had offered a house that the town owns. He had suggested we could rent this house to you if you were able to provide affordable housing for people.
Well living is so fantastic when it comes to giving you something and you just take it to that next level. You rise above. You absolutely make us so surprised at times with what you can do with your group. So that was just a wonderful opportunity for us to gift that to you, in a sense, to say, you know what, we have an opportunity to house some homeless people, and we knew that giving you that would be a perfect opportunity for us to bring people off the streets.
The community came together and donated their time, donated their services, and we were able to make that house into a home for people.
Right now we got a great group of guys here, and God has taught me a lot living here about grace, patience, understanding, quick to listen, slow to speak is a big one. And I thank him for that. And I thank Jody for giving me the opportunity to live here and to learn. And I could see change in the guys that live here as well.
During the fall months, we were talking about the need for an overnight shelter. There's nothing in Bradford. We couldn't get together fast enough, volunteers, and safely enough to do overnight shelter. So we brainstormed with the people that we were working with some of these friends that are in poverty, asking what else can we do? And the idea of having a cafe came out of the conversations. So November 1st, we opened the Out of the Cold Cafe for the first time. We were able to put the call out to the community. And we said, listen, here's the idea, but we need volunteers.
At the end of August, beginning of September, I read about the cafe opening up in our local paper. And I was kind of, at the time, looking for something to do to volunteer. I really felt strongly about being in Bradford. I've been here for 23 years, and giving back to the community and providing some services here was pretty important to me. So I read about it in the paper, and I emailed Patty. And next thing you know, I was in training.
Friends, we wanted to be open 7 days a week. Within 2 weeks, we had enough volunteers sign up to do every day of the week. And then we had restaurants respond to the call to provide breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. On March 22nd, we had a life-changing fire at 114 Holland Street here in town. An 8-story apartment building with over 100 people living in that building caught fire, and all of them were displaced.
It was a devastating afternoon, it really was. And to see the actual fire, the black smoke that was coming out of the apartment building, the second top floor, to know that these residents that would have to find temporary housing to begin with, and so much was unknown.
At that time, we didn't know the extent or the damage of the fire. At that time, we didn't have a clue, but we jumped into action right away. With you coming up and telling us you want to do and help us out, do that, I mean, it was fantastic, because that actually gave us something that said, hey, we've got a group, we know we can count on this group. they will get it done. And that's what we needed, fast action, and that's what happened. So we're really grateful to WOW Living and everybody that jumped on side this.
These residents just wanted somebody to talk to, somebody that knew the process, that knew how to move on, to be able to find another place to live. And I think that's where WOW Living came in, that you were able to go and meet with these residents of Bradford who were staying at a hotel, give them insight, give them hope, give them a feeling that they're part of the community of Bradford and that we really care.
One of the things that we asked these friends was, what's your housing need? Are you looking for a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom? What do you need? And some of them actually said to us, we would live in a trailer if we had it. And I thought, okay, that's a good idea. This is March. We're going into spring, summer. Where would we put them if we could get trailers? And my first thought was, well, there's some churches in town that have land. And I reached out to Bradford Community Church.
All of a sudden, I got this phone call from this crazy woman named Jody Greenstreet. Hey, would it be okay if we put a trailer on your property for some homeless people? And, well, it kind of went from there to, well, I'll do you one better. We have a portable that we could reno.
Bradford Community Church is partnering with WOW Living, and the idea is that we would put 6 pads. So think concrete pad, and then think a really nice sturdy pavilion over each of those pads. The pavilion helps to save the life of a trailer with the rain and the elements, but the pavilion also, it doesn't look trailer trashy, right? It adds some, it's aesthetically pleasing.
We purchased a 5th-wheel trailer, and that's housing another couple, and then there was another trailer that was purchased, and a bathroom shower trailer, and it's crazy.
We had 2 families from that fire move into those spaces.
I'm Sheila,
And I'm Donnie.
and because of the fire, now we're here at the Bradford Community Church.
And I know this wonderful trailer that we're living in now, it's beautiful, but it's not winterized. And she does get cold up here in the winter times.
What is up with the trailer behind you? So you've talked about these 3 over, that are for these friends from the fire and are kind of seasonal. What's going on with this one behind you?
They're winterizing it, and they're making it a all-year-round park model trailer for this homeless family to live in that were victims of this fire. There's nowhere for them to go. The rent is unbelievable. From what they were paying to what they would have to pay, it's more than double. And I will not have him and his wife living on the street. It's not going to happen on my watch. And had I not had the opportunity and the privilege to be able to get involved in this project, I would have been blind. I would have been living in a bubble. These people need help.
The trailer was a neat option, but it's seasonal. So those are really what I've been told by people that are RVers is once October 15th, Canadian Thanksgiving rolls around, it's too cold. You can't stay in those things long term. So in talking with some of the guys from the guest house, some of the men there, they had this idea of taking a park model trailer and seeing if we can winterize it, turn it into a 4-season home. So thought that's pretty cool if it can actually work. So Magna, they donated $5,000 that got us started.
Yeah, we prayed about getting a trailer, and I'm thinking, okay, we'll keep a lookout for a month or so, and hopefully we'll find something. Within 2 days again, there's a trailer.
We rolled it into the guest house. These guys put together this pad. It came and they started working on it.
We started ripping everything down, and I started making a list of what materials we need. And Jody said, well, we're gonna make out a list. I'm gonna go to Home Hardware and see if they'll, give us a reduced price or something. And I was like, okay. So I made a little list, sent it to you, and they're like, no, make a list. The next day, You didn't even text me, you called me to tell me that Home Hardware gave all of it to us.
And we have had people come alongside as advisors to help us in this process, like General Coach Canada, like Armstrong Trailers in Innisfil, people that are kind of experts in the field and know about these things to help us with building code and the things that we don't know. Another really cool part about this project is I've been able to hire one of the men that was living at the guest house as our first part-time staff employee working on this project. The best option for this trailer to winterize it is spray foam. Do you know how expensive this stuff is? I did not.
I remembered I worked for an insulation guy. I thought, well, if we only bring the walls out a little bit and we spray foam it, it'll give us more R value. So I gave Jody the contact for Admore Insulation. The next day, she calls me again. Dave said he's gonna talk to his company and see if they'll do it for free. And I'm like, oh man, that's another one.
I went into the trailer a couple of days ago to look at it, and what was being done in there brought tears to my eyes. And it's just a loving, caring, wonderful thing. It's happening to my wife and I.
This is our first project. It's get the volunteers in, get the awareness out.
For what it's worth, you know, a little bit of material, a little bit of labor, to donate that to a good cause. It's I just thought, why not do it? It's for a good cause, and you never know what other people are going through in the world. So to help out in a little way, a lot of times it's more than the money. It's about giving back to the community.
Our second trailer is going to be better. Our third trailer is going to be even better than the second one, and so on and so on. It's a learning experience. It's fun. So I'm excited about the finished product. It's getting there.
I hear they're going to be putting the floor down tomorrow.
And so if you've ever heard of like a vehicle donation program, this could be the adult version, where as a charity, people can donate their trailers for a tax receipt. And then these men, Lord willing, this is what we're hoping for, we can employ some of these men to work on converting these trailers into four-season home mobile homes, that they're learning everything about their home. These men who once were homeless and potentially building their future home. And part of the heart behind this program, guys, is we would love to see these trailers be a rent-to-own situation where they can actually, like Donnie and Sheila, they can actually own their own home. We are working on this pilot project. We're finding out what the costs actually are. Everything, pretty much almost everything has been donated for this first trailer. But we're keeping tabs on what the real expenses are for each of the next 5. And our hope is that we can offer these people who may have never thought possible the opportunity to own a little home. And what we're dreaming about is the community helping us build these. Similar to Habitat for Humanity, they build these permanent homes. Well, Wild Living is working on building these temporary safe structures for people to own. Simcoe County did a 10-year affordable housing plan in 2014, so do the math. By 2024, they have set numbers that they've put into that plan for each municipality as far as how many affordably rented units, so rent geared to income units, each municipality should have by 2024. And there's been a lot of focus on providing for those. There's also a number in that study, or in that plan, for affordably owned homes. And that right now, that's an oxymoron in our housing crisis. Unless it's a situation like this, what we're working on. What if we can provide these homes for people as affordably as possible and see them within 3, maybe 5 years, own their own home?
I'm 40 years old now. I would love to own my own home. And with the prices and everything in society for housing, that looks like it's an impossibility. But with a trailer, that looks like it's possible. And to own my own trailer, it would mean so much to me. I would be able to have my own garden, my own yard, deck, you know, have friends over and call it home. And that would mean so much to me, for sure.
We never thought about that.
Thought about what?
Ever owning anything like a home. That's something Donnie and I, for some reason, never thought about. And to think that that could happen, wow, just puts a big smile on your face.
It's a big wow, yeah.
We're lucky here in Bradford, West Gwillimbury, that Well Living is in our community, and that we've seen the results that you're able to bring forward. And I think for other municipalities, for other towns, for other cities, elected officials have to realize they can't do it all themselves. They have to reach out for volunteers and people that just have that sense that they want to help people. And I think that's it. There's people like that in every town, and it's just a matter of finding those people and getting them to get a group together to volunteer and to help out in whatever way is possible.